Hello grade 3 and grade 4. I wanted to take a minute right now and show you a little mini lesson for our first lesson on cursive writing. I'm going to show you 7 or 8 different letters of lowercase, and we're going to work on lowercase this week, and then next week we will work on uppercase letters. All the letters we're going to do today are going to have the same similar pattern. Some of you might find it easier if you turn your page on a bit of an angle. So if you, instead of having the page straight up and down, you might want to turn it a little bit to the left or turn it a little bit to the right. Cursive writing tends to have the letters written on a bit of an angle, and you might find it's easier if you have the paper on the same angle as your arm, making it easier for you to write. So today we're going to work on the letter C, the letter A, the letter D, the letter G, the letter O, and the letter Q, and we'll also put them together to make a few little words. When we're done, you'll be able to practice as much as you want or as little as you want, but by the end of the week you'll know all the lowercase letters and you'll be able to write any word in the world in lowercase letters. The more you practice, the better you'll get. If you've already started watching this video and you haven't printed off the 2 PDFs today for today's first lesson on lowercase letters, then I'd like you to pause the video and at least pull up the lowercase letter sheets on your screen and get a piece of lined paper, or print the 2 pages off so you'll be able to work while you're watching or be able to work when we're done. But I'm going to turn the camera around right now and show you how we start, because every letter starts the same way, and that's why I put these letters together. So hopefully you can see the page, and I've got it lined up pretty well, but we're going to start with the letter C. So the letter C, you can see I've got special lined paper here, and you'll have the same lined paper. We start down at the bottom, and you have a little tail that you're going to have. And the whole point of cursive writing is that all your letters will be able to connect together. So you have to have a tail at the beginning of your letter in order for the previous letter to hook onto it. Just like when we're done our letter, we'll have a tail at the end of it for the next letter to hook on. So the letter C, I'll back my hand up on the pencil. The letter C starts down, up, over, and back. And we only go halfway up to the dotted line. I'm trying to zoom in so you can see that. So down, up and over with an arch, back around and up. Up, over, and around. So you want to practice going up, over, and around. So down, up with a curve, following back around the curve, down to the bottom line, and back up with a tail. And you can fill the whole line up all the way across doing letter C's. You want to practice going up, following the same line back and around and back down. And those are letter C's. The second line will have 2 C's connected. So it's the same thing, up, back around, but then instead of taking your pencil off the page, you go right back up, halfway over, back around, and you have 2 C's together. Up, over, back around, up, back around, up, back around with a tail. Up, back around, back up, half wave to the top of the C, back around, down in a tail. So you can practice putting 2 C's together. So 1 C on one line, 2 C's on the next. 1 C on one line, 2 C's on the next. And that'll be your first letter we're doing. Doing the letter C goes right into the letter A. The letter A is the exact same as the C. We start with a tail going halfway up, back around, but instead of leaving a tail at the front, we go straight up to the top of where our C was, down, and leave a tail. So up and over like a C, back around, but then bring it straight up for an A, down into a tail. Up, over, down, tail. Up and back, around, down, and a tail. You can fill the whole line doing as many A's as you can. And then our fourth line will be 2 A's. So you do your first A just like normal. Your tail from your first A goes back up, around like the C, down and into your second A. And you'll have 2 A's together. So you'll have a whole line of 2 A's together. Remember, you can stop the video at any time to practice your letters. Our third letter, again, follows the same path as the C and the A. We're going to make the letter D now. Again, it's up and over, around like an A, but instead of stopping and coming back down like an A, you'll go straight up to the top, then down and make a tail. So it's just like the C, back around, up like the A, but go straight up to the top line, down, straight back down on the same line and make a tail. So it's identical to an A, but instead of coming down when you reach the dotted line, you go straight up to the top, straight back down, and make a tail. So you want to do a whole line of D's, taking your time, making your circle, and around you go. The tail from the first D leads right into your next letter, which we're going to connect 2 D's. So 1 D, the tail leads straight back up and around into a second D. 1 D, the tail leads up and around, down into a second D. And you can do a whole line of 2 D's. I'm going to stop after doing 4. You can fill your whole line. The more you practice, the better you will get. Just like A, C, A, and D, G goes along the same path. G again starts on the line with a tail leading in, up and around, just like the A. But instead of going up like the D, we come straight back down like an A, but we go halfway down below, loop around to the left, and we cross right back at the black line and give it a tail coming up. Please notice when we go down halfway below the black line, we loop around, and when we cross back over, we cross right at the cross of the circle in the bottom loop, right on the black line. So it's up and over, down like an A, halfway below the black line, forward loop, and cross. And you have created the letter G. Do as many G's as you want. Remember, your circle never goes past the dotted line. Your loop below goes halfway below the black line. 2 G's is the same as 1 G. You take your tail from the first one and it leads right back up into another letter G. So again, I'm going to have you can see how my sheet is on an angle. We'll have 1 G, brings across, goes straight up into another G and across. 1 G, tail comes across, straight up, over, back around, and into a G. Straight up. Pencil never comes off the paper for both letters. Stays on the paper the entire time. That's the point of cursive writing. Unlike printing, where pencil comes off the page between each letter, in cursive writing, your pencil stays on the page the whole time. Now we have the letter O. O is the same as C, O, D, or C, A, D, and G. We again start at the bottom, go up, back around, all the way up to the top like an A, but then instead of coming down, we go over and make a loop because an O finishes up in the air, one of the only letters to do so. So it's up and over, back up like the letter A, but then curl over to the left and wrap around and make a tail. So just like the letter A, but curl over to the left and wrap underneath and make a tail. Up, over, underneath, and make a tail. Up, over, underneath, and make a tail. And you have a letter O. O finishes his tail up at the top in the air. So a whole line of the letter O. Two O's, as you can see right here on line 10, you start with the first O, and because the tail's up in the air, it leads us right into the top of the next O. So we have our first O, our tail's already up in the top, so I only go halfway, back around, another loop, and I finish up in the air again. O, hang over, up in the air. I'm already up here, so I go halfway, back around, back up, over, and a second loop. Up, over, around, halfway, up, over, and we go. You can do a whole line of double O's. Again, our last letter we're going to learn today is the letter Q. Q is the exact same pattern as C and A and D and G and O. We start on the bottom, we go up, halfway, back around to the top, down like an A, down like the G, but we do the loop to the right and then kick out a tail. So where a G had the loop to the left with a tail, a Q has a loop to the right and then a tail. Up and over, down, halfway below the line, kick to the right, and then a tail to the right. So I'll see if I can move my hand to give you some more light. Up and over, down, kick to the right, tail to the right. Up and over, down, halfway below the black line, bubble out to the right, tail out to the right. So it's just the letter A. Continue halfway below the line, shoot a bubble out to the right. Notice the bubble comes right back up to the black line, and then kick out a tail. Your second page, you will have two Qs for line 12. So, first Q, to the right, kick out a tail, brings you right back up to the top, starts with your little A, halfway below the line, kick out to the right, and your little tail. So one Q to the right with a tail leads right back into another Q to the right with a tail. Two Qs stuck together. Try to keep your line as straight as possible when you're going down. Just like a P and a G, your line going straight and straight down is best. So if we take a look at our two pages now, we've learned C, A, D, G, O, and Q. Using these letters, we can start sticking them together and we can form a few words and practice. You can make as many nonsense words as you want by sticking any letters together you want. But we were able to form dad and cad and dog and cocoa. And then I made a nonsense word right here, coda. So dad. The letter D, up, over into an A, down, straight back up into another D. And you can write dad. Father's Day is coming up next weekend. You'll be able to write dad in cursive letter in a card. D, straight down, up into an A, straight down, over into a D, down with a tail. Do as many dads as you can. Cad, a C, around into an A, half a loop, back and down. The tail comes back up into the same loop pattern for a D, up to the black line. Notice how I went straight up, straight back down with a little tail. Always remember with your D's and your G's and your P's and all the other letters you're going to learn, try to keep them as straight as you can. So C, into an A, into a D with a tail. Dog, a D, comes to an O. Remember, O goes all the way back to the top and loops around and stays at the top. Because we're already at the top, it leads right into a G. G goes down like an A. Halfway below the line, we kick out to the left and cross. D. O wraps around the top to the left, finishes up high with our tail, already into a G, which brings our circle, and around for dog. Do as many dogs as you can to finish the line. Coco would be a C. Our O finishes up high with a C, right back into another O, and the O finishes up high. C-O, C-O. Do as many Cocos as you can. If you want to spell it like cocoa powder, C-O-C-O-A. Cocoa. And our last one was quota. I tried to use all of our letters here. So we have a Q, kick out to the right. O finishes up high, right into a D, straight down, into an A, finishes at the line with a little tail. Q, into an O, into a D, into an A. This is quite easy for me. I've had lots of years and lots of practice. The more you practice, the better you'll get. It'll be easier for you to remember where letters start and where they end, and which way to turn your loops, and which way to turn your pencil. A trick for you to remember is don't squeeze your pencil too hard. Hold it nice and lightly in your hand with a firm grip, but still light enough that you're not squeezing and hurting your fingers. You want the pencil to be able to flow in your hands. A lot of people find cursive writing easier than printing and a lot neater than they're printing. Have fun with it, okay? I know this was a longer video. If you were doing it at the same time that you were watching it, I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you're going back now to do it while you play it, push pause and work on it. Rewind it and go back. You can be doing this anytime, when you're in a car, when you're sitting outside in the sun, when you're just listening to the radio. The more you practice, the better you'll get. I hope you had fun.